a shuffle, a cut. And despite shuffling and cutting, all I have to do is that, and I've got the 4 aces. Have you got it?
Yeah, that was best you've done.
Perfect.
Right, okay, 4 aces. Now every time I see 4 aces laid out on the table, it reminds me of a time many years ago when I was in a gambling Mexican saloon. A small pile of cards. I don't know, it's marvellous, isn't it? I took the first ace and I lost it into the centre of that pile. I took the next ace, the ace of spades, cut that away and lost it. At this point I just checked there's no ace at the bottom, no ace near the top. I took the ace of clubs and cut that away and lost it. Finally I took the last ace, the ace of hearts, cut it into the pack, burying it to get the cards. One more cut for good measure, just making sure there was no ace at the bottom and no ace at the top. I placed the cards down and then I felt a little tap on my shoulder. And there stood behind me was this old Western gambler, and he'd only got one arm. He said, "Son, I don't know what you're trying to do there with that pack of cards, but I've been handling cards for a long time. If you like, I'll show you who gets the money." Keen to see what this one-armed gambler could do, I said, "Well, go ahead." So he did this. He picked the cards up with one hand. With a dexterous sweep, he cut them straight to an ace. I thought, now that's rather uncanny. Just to make sure he wasn't cheating, I checked the top card and the bottom card, making sure there was no ace. I placed the cards down. I said, "Can you do that again?" He says, "Yes, but it'll cost you money this time. It'll cost you $5. Once again he picked the cards up with a dexterous sweep. He cut straight to the second ace, and I lost $5. Once again I checked the top card and the bottom card, making sure there was no ace, and determined to catch him out this time, I placed the cards face up. I challenged him. I said, "Can you cut to the third ace with the pack face up?" He said, "I've never tried it that way, son, but if it works it'll cost you $500. And he cut the cards straight to the third ace, and I lost a lot of money. Determined to get me money back, this time I checked there was no ace anywhere near the bottom, no ace anywhere near the top, and I bet him 500 Mexican dollars, which is worth about £1.30 in English money. He couldn't cut to the last ace. He said, "You're on." He picked the cards up, for a final time he cut them with a dexterous sweep, and sure enough, he'd missed. I said, "That's a miss, that's a 5 spot, that's $500 you owe me." He said, "Son, when you've been in this game as long as me, you learn how to control every card in the pack. That 5 is my control card." He said, "Count 5 cards down and you'll come to the last ace. Count slowly and make no mistakes." So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to the 5th card and realised I stood to lose a lot of money on the turn of this card, so I very craftily dealt a second and palmed that card away. Quick as a flash he pulled out a knife, plunged it between my fingers, half scaring me to death. He said, "Son, if I haven't cut to the last ace, I'll apologise." And the moral to that story is that he, like me, palmed the card once too often, but unlike me, he didn't have his fingers separated, and that's how he lost his arm. Do you know how people shuffle cards like that? Well, I was in my local pub the other night. I think this fella had had a few too many, because he took the cards off me, he turned some face up, he left some face down, and he shuffled them in a way like the likes of which I've never seen before. He shuffled face up cards into face down cards. Very unusual manner. When I looked at the cards, I found that some cards were face up and some were face down, in a very topsy-turvy condition. He wasn't satisfied with doing that once, he did it a second time, shuffling face up cards into face down cards. He then challenged me to cut to the 4 kings. I thought, well, that's an unusual request, but always eager to please, I will try. So I cut the cards a couple of times, turned the pack up, and sure enough I got to the king of clubs, which surprised me more than it did you. I thought, just to impress him, I'll find the next king in a slightly different way, so I brushed the cards together and got to the king of diamonds. He was a little bit worried about me finding those two kings so easily, so he snatched the pack off me, turned some face up, left some face down, and gave them a further topsy-turvy shuffle. He said, "Can you find the last 2 kings?" I thought, "You're making things very difficult, but I will try." So once again I cut the pack a couple of times, turned it up, and sure enough I got the king of hearts. I thought, now I better quickly find the last king before he gets a chance to shuffle these cards again, so I brushed them together and got the king of spades. He said, "That's very good, you found the 4 kings, but I've got the last laugh on you. Remember I shuffle your cards in the topsy-turvy fashion." I said, "Oh, wait a minute, while I was looking for those kings, I took the opportunity of straightening these cards out." He said, "Well, that's very clever." He says, "You straightened those cards out, but a real magician wouldn't cut to 4 kings at all. A real magician would to the 4 aces. I said I anticipated you saying that, that's why I switched these 4 kings for 1, 2, 3, 4 aces while you weren't watching. He wasn't satisfied with that. He said, well, where are the kings? I said, well, they are right just here, in case you need them. Let's get these out of the way. Slide 2 cards out of the spread. Will you just slide any 2 cards forward. Okay. Now, in order to help you remember these 2 cards, I will have a look at them as well. Right, one of the cards is the Queen of Clubs, place on top. The other card is the 9 of Clubs. So there's 2 cards to remember, the 9 of Clubs and the Queen of Clubs. Now here I've got some jokers, but they are of a different coloured back to the rest of the pack. Blue back jokers. 3 blue back jokers. I'm going to insert the 2 selections in between those jokers, so we've made like a double-decker sandwich. I'll just show you, but a joker, a selection, a joker, a selection, and a joker. I'm going to take those sandwich cards and just show you again. Joker, selection, joker, selection, joker, joker, selection, joker, selection, joker. But watch. I add nothing, I take nothing away. But despite that, those 2 selections have vanished. Now, they haven't vanished actually, they must have gone somewhere. I have a feeling they've gone down to the pack. Let's send one of these 3 jokers down into the pack after those 2 selections. One joker's gone down into the pack and trapped itself between 2 cards, but not any 2 cards, right between the 2 selected cards, 9 of Clubs and the Queen of Clubs.
Spot on.
Yeah. Again, a few little niggly. Show you a trick, a shuffle pack of cards, a prediction, and a joker, which is a rather special card. It's special because it's different from the rest of the pack in as much as it's got a blue back. Right? A blue back joker. Adam, I want you to initial that joker, so that we know that we are only dealing with 1 joker. Have you done that? It's not very good.
Not very well, but...
Well, not worry, we'll accept those initials which are already on it. I'm going to deal that joker down and shuffle the pack. And just cut. Now I want you to take that joker, and while it's still face down, I want you to stab it anywhere you like into the pack. Anywhere you like. About there. Okay, about there. Oh, no moves, I'm going to turn the pack face down, spread the cards. You've stabbed your joker there, right next to that card. That card happens to be the Ace of Clubs. And my prediction happens to be the Ace of Clubs.